All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, as you can see on the screen here, we're going to be checking out this game called Alpha Clash. Now, I know a lot of people are ready to just jump right out, and that's fine, but hear me out real quick. Just understand, don't worry, I'm not changing the direction of the channel. We're still all in on One Piece TCG. I'm not adding another game to the channel or anything like that. But the CEO of Rising Empire Studios, which is the people that make Alpha Clash, they basically reached out to me in an email and said, hey, would you mind showing off our game? You know, we will send you the stuff you see on the screen here if you don't mind just making a video on it and showing it off to your audience. And I said, absolutely, for a few reasons. Number one, I am a TCG enthusiast completely. I think I want to say I always will be. It's hard to say something like that. You never want to say something if you can't really keep your word to it, right? But I think I will always be a TCG enthusiast. Because I think TCGs are just incredible games. I think they make you think, they allow you to be creative, and they allow you to get out of the house and go to to tournaments and mess around, have fun with people, meet new people. I just think they're incredible, especially in this digital age we live in. I have nothing against online clients or anything like that, applications that are TCGs like Hearthstone. I have nothing against those, but I love the flesh and blood aspect of TCGs. That's kind of where Flesh and Blood got its name from, right? It's like, no, let's stay here. Let's play in person. It's good to have the digital content as well, but let's get people sitting across from each other, meeting new people, having fun, and all that good stuff. So, so when they reached out to me, I said absolutely, because like I said, number one is I'm a TCG enthusiast. And number two is I have seen this game before. And, I would not just advertise any game on this channel. I don't get paid for this, guys. I'm not getting paid. I mean, unless you want to consider what they sent on the screen here, payment, I'm not getting paid. This is not paid promotion. This is just like, hey, would you mind showing off this stuff here? Would you mind showing off our game? And here's the honest truth, guys. Absolutely, I didn't mind because I've already covered this game before. A while back, way back when I first started my channel. If you just do a search through my videos for Alpha Clash, you'll find one of my first videos on there. It has like 35 views, guys. This is back when I had like under 100 subs. And I was like, dude, this is a pretty cool looking game. It's got some interesting stuff going on, and we're gonna check it out today. Okay, so let me just wrap up this intro before it gets too long-winded. It's already feeling clunky enough. But today we're going to be checking out Alpha Clash. One more thing I want to go over real quick before we dive into the actual video is, again, just reconfirming, like, okay, I'm not changing the direction of the channel. But one thing that I was thinking about would be nice is when I first started this channel, I liked covering all TCGs. I liked the freedom of being able to cover all kinds of different TCGs. But then it became a better choice for my channel and for myself to go all in on One Piece TCG. And when I did that, there's one thing I left behind, and it was that freedom to cover all these different TCGs. So one thing I might try to reincorporate to the channel, maybe once a month or once every 2 months, is I'd like to show off other TCGs. I have a video on Yu-Gi-Oh! That I showed off a while back, showing off that 2-player starter kit that everybody was making fun of and bashing. I thought it was a fun video, and then, of course, now we're about to do an Alpha Clash one. About a month ago, I did maybe not even a month, maybe like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I put out that video on the new Gundam TCG coming out by Bandai. So I really am I'm a TCG player at heart, guys. I'm not saying that my channel will ever get to the point where, like, for example, like Wasi Plays is. Like, Wasi covers a lot of different TCGs. Or like Eggman. Eggman covers like all of the different Bandai TCGs, I believe. And that's awesome. That's perfect for their channel. And I'm never trying to step on anyone's toes either. But one thing I do like to cover from time to time are other TCGs. And Alpha Clash is going to be what we're checking out today, guys, okay? So if you start seeing like a random one of every month or so of like of a different TCG on here, don't worry, guys. I still post a video every single day on One Piece. So if like maybe once out of every 30 videos or once out of every 50 videos it ends up being a different card game, bear with me. Just skip that one and, just wait for the next day. Okay, all right, like I said, that was super long-winded, super clumsy. I actually tried that intro about 30 times, guys. I just couldn't get it right. I couldn't get it to the point where I liked the way it sounded. But we're gonna roll with that one. Let's go ahead and dive into this. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description. We're going to kind of be all over the place, but I'm going to try and keep it in a specific order. First, we're going to check out the video you see in the background here. Then we're going to check out the rule book a little bit. We're going to check out their website, and then we're going to check out the prices on TCGPlayer for the game. It is still a new enough game but still popular. It's new enough and popular enough to where it's on TCGPlayer, and the prices are pretty nice right now for people who would be considered getting into a game like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, volume's off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. So this is me doing an unboxing. I'm not good at this stuff, guys. Goodness gracious, like look how big my hands are. You know, I've got like these huge like bear paws. It's not pretty when I do unboxings, and that's why I don't do them. But hey, I did want to help this these people out here, or I hope this helps the people out over at Rising Empire Studios. I hope this draws some people into the game who might think it looks cool. So they sent me this. So Alpha Clash, for those who are not aware, who have no idea about it, Genesis Returns. This is their new set coming out. The game's been out for about a year and a half or so. And Alpha Clash, they're building their entire franchise around, I believe, if I understand correctly, the main thing is around this comic book world that is Alpha Clash. It's a TCG built around it, and I think they also have another game coming out soon, some type of like a board game. I could be wrong on that. You know, I'll have to check, but don't quote me on some of this stuff, guys. But I'll tell you as much as I can, as much as I think I know about it. I do not know how to play this game. I only know the basics. Now, real quick, let me go ahead and fast forward here, because some of this stuff was I didn't edit this video at all, guys. It's just a raw cut, right? So here's how it comes in the box. This is the 2-player set we were just looking at. They sent me a 2-player set. They sent me a booster box, and then they sent me a comic book, the edition #1 comic book. And check that out, guys. There's foiling in this game. It looks cool. And notice this character on the front here. I'm going to pause it when it backs up. Actually, let me just pause right here. This is like a leader in One Piece. Notice how it's called a contender at the top right, up to where my head is. This is called a contender, and it's actually, this game is very similar to One Piece. Here's like how I want to translate it. I feel like this game is One Piece meets Dragon Ball meets Yu-Gi-Oh! Because so the number 25 here is the life that this character has, or this contender has, the leader has. And then notice down here there are 2 abilities. One's at 25 and the other's at 15. As you get weaker, or as your contender loses health, I should say, they don't get weaker, they actually get stronger. And you start unlocking their second ability. Like for this guy here, Pestilence, he at 25 life, which is what he starts at. He has this first effect, and I really like the idea behind this character where he's like throwing around toxic counters, and those hurt your opponent's characters, or they can. Your opponent's not characters, clash cards, which are like characters in One Piece. But then as he gets down to 15 life, he actually gets a whole nother effect, a whole nother ability. So really cool stuff here. I'm going to try not to pause this too much because this is a pretty long video. Here's the other one in the 2-player kit. This guy's name is War. This is probably like your red aggro deck. I'm not going to lie. The main one that I looked at, by the way, check out the backs of these cards, guys. Very clean. Looks really nice. Looks really good. And that thing you see behind the Alpha Clash logo there, it's like that circular thing. It looks like a portal. It is a portal. I'll try to remember to talk about that a little bit more in the game. There's a very interesting, unique feature in this game called the portal, and I'll try to remember to mention that as we go through the video. But very cool looking. This is the back of the card. This is the back of the cards. Okay, so like I said, this deck came with a green deck and a red deck. The green deck kind of seemed like a damage over time style deck where you're putting these toxic counters on stuff and weakening them, and the red one seemed like an aggro buff your guys type of deck. And some of the words I'm going to say in this video may not be correct technically when it comes to, Alpha Clash. I'm going to try to say words that relate better to my One Piece audience, because that is the main audience for my channel. So in this game, what we're seeing on the screen here, this guy, he is more of like a leader. So right here, this is the leader for the green deck. His name's Pestilence. And now all these cards here, I know this is kind of jumpy, guys. Bear with me. I figured out later in the video how I want to do this properly. Now notice this too. There are cards that have different rarities of the same card where like they're basically foiled or not foiled. So notice this one, this guy Pestilence, the 5 one. Yeah, that one is not foiled, but the first one was. Notice this one's foiled, but this one is not. Oh, well, this one is, but then the next one is not. So they do come in like different foiling and different qualities. Incredible quality cards. They're not quite as thick card stock as One Piece cards are, but that's like a Bandai trademark at this point. It's like a hallmark for them. Or maybe trademark was the better word for it. But check out the art, guys. This art is top notch because remember, this is all based around the comic book world that this universe is built on. Right, so check it out. We're going to go over the types of cards later. Don't worry about that just yet. I'm just trying to get through this video and show off some of the cards here, guys. You know, really good stuff here. Like I said, I don't think there's any bad art in this game. I'm just going to be honest, guys. I haven't seen any. Notice the quality here. Look at the faces on these characters. Like, this is high-quality art. Very good stuff. And as an art guy, I'm a big fan of that part of it. Okay, so that was the entire starter deck for green. I have to fast forward like 30 seconds because, again, guys, this is like an unedited video. Whoop, let me go back a little bit. Now I'm going to show off the red deck. So that was the green deck. This is the red deck that comes in the 2-player starter kit. Okay, so there's him. Now check it out again. Notice this card is foiled. This card, Gravity Javelin, and this Gravity Javelin is not. So there is different like foiling rarities amongst cards. Really, really cool looking stuff here. This guy's art looks really cool, but I liked the green deck better personally. Just, this is like a totally, completely personal thing. I have no idea how to play the game. It might be the worst deck in the game for all we know. Who knows? But I like it so much more because of that pestilence counter stuff going on. You're putting toxic counters on your opponent's cards, and it's just hurting them. It's slowing them down. It's making you stronger and whatever. I love stuff like that, guys. Like that's like a different level of control for me. I really enjoy it. So really good stuff here. It's all the same theme for this war guy. As you can see, it's all these like pictures of him, like, you know, that's some type of weapon he has or something, I think, or some type of action he has. It spoils of war. Cool stuff here. Very good pictures. Like I said, that was the one thing that impressed me the most about this game when I was looking at it. I was like, man, the quality of this art is just like, it's up there. And it was like that when they first started too. This isn't like new for this set only. Because so I got, when I first saw this game, when it was first coming out. Let me fast forward a little bit, guys, because there are a few pauses in here. So now I'm going to start opening this up. So this will be torture to watch. Don't worry, guys. Yeah, I'm absolutely horrible at these box openings. Now, it does come with a you know, a booster box topper card there. Really nice looking foil card. Special promo, I believe. I try to zoom in on it here. Krung's Plan, I think is what it's called, as you can see at the top left. The reason it looks so dark is because the lighting's not perfect in these videos. It's a gold font, so it actually looks dark when you don't have good lighting on it. So right here, I'm just taking all the cards out of the box. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This is an old school feel here, like Magic for me, where it's like, if you notice the front of all these packs, it's like there's 4 different pack faces. Now, in One Piece, that's not a thing. That was like I think that was like an American trading card game thing, where it looks like there's 4 different packs you're getting here. They're all Genesis returns, which I really love that about this game, going back to those that old, like I said, the nostalgia for back in the day. I think Pokemon did that as well. There are probably others that did as well, but I feel like now that I'm playing One Piece, I don't see it at all anymore. So I'm just stacking them all up. Looks like they come in a pretty even distribution of each one of these different, you know, fronts. But yeah. Oh, I didn't finish my thought earlier. I feel like this game is like this hybrid between like One Piece, Dragon Ball, and like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you have the life on the contender's your leader. As you get weaker, as you lose life, your leader gets stronger. It has a really nice perforation there I was showing, guys, to tear the packs open. Very high quality, again. Very nice for tearing these packs open. Made it very easy. But this game is like Dragon Ball, One Piece, and then it's also like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there are trap cards in this game. They're like accessory items that are traps. So I'll try to talk about that a little bit more as we get into as we get further and further into the video. I'm pretty much just going to talk over this, guys. I don't know enough about the game to say if like, oh, this is a good card or this is a bad one. We can talk about the art all day. The art is absolute of the absolute highest quality. However, I don't know how good these cards are. That's the one thing I'm just being completely transparent with you guys on. Whoops, let me move the bottom. There we go. I have no idea how good these cards are. So there's a foiled card. Very cool. And then the last one here, this was like a foiled rare, I believe. Looked really good. And I think I did get I don't know what the rates are in this game. Like it's 20, I believe it was 24 boosters in a box, like a very standard box. However, I don't know what the hit rates are in this game whatsoever. Not that it's super relevant, but I did get a card you're going to see in here, guys. I don't mean to spoil it, but I get a card that's like a signed card, which who knows? You know, who knows the value? Well, actually, we're going to look at some of the value of some of these cards towards the end of the video. And like I said, I will have everything time stamped for you guys to hop around and kind of do, check it out, jump around where you want to in the video. Okay, so let's see what happens next. We got a bunch of different cards here. Now, some of these, of course, will be repeats, like especially they have the commons in the front, then the uncommons, then the rares or whatever's after that. Now, check this out. This is actually an alt art version of one of the cards in the game it's called I Am Creation. I'm trying to show the foiling. Sorry, guys, I have it on 2x speed. That's why it looks like I'm doing it so fast. But notice there's also texturing in this one. That card looked really nice in person, and that's always going to be the that's the story of TCGs, right? When you're trying to show these cards off, like real quick in a picture where you can't really see the lighting perfectly on them, it never looks quite as good. And one thing I was counting right here, don't worry, I don't do this the whole time. I was trying to figure out the ratios within the pack of like how many commons, uncommons, and rares. And I think what it was is there's a rare or greater in every pack, and then there is 3 uncommons and 6 commons. It was something along those lines. Okay, just kind of showing these off. It's funny, as we get further, nice, there's a really good looking foil there, guys. I have to keep changing hands because on my left in the video here, like to the left, is where my light source is. That's like allowing me to see these. So I keep having to take my left hand out of the picture and just use the right hand. And about halfway through, no, a little over, I think like right around here, if you guys can see down at the bottom, somewhere around here, I adjust the camera to a much better angle. Okay. So right now I'm just kind of opening all these. I do want to at least show you guys each one of the rares as they come across here, because there's one that came out that was a good one. So that one we saw earlier as just a non-foil, and now we're seeing it as a foil, and that does add quite a bit of like a character to the card. So that Clarity card looks awesome. Really big fan of that. Again, one thing, if you like the superhero type stuff, like the DC comics and Marvel comics type stuff, if that's like your favorite type of art, and you're a TCG player, this is probably not the worst game for you. Like, you'll probably like this game quite a bit. It has that vibe. I've never been big on the comic book style. However, I still appreciate it. I still think it looks incredible. Okay, this guy looks awesome. This was like some type of special rarity. Notice the foiling plus the texturing. Really good looking stuff there. Okay, and notice this guy. I thought like, wow, that's pretty cool. It kind of, some of these cards do have a vibe from other Marvels. Like, for example, the guy we were just looking at on the far right, the yellow and black dude, he kind of gives me this Venom type of vibe. And there's another card you'll see later in the video that really gives that vibe off. Where it's just cool. It's very relatable. Okay, so I'm opening the packs off the camera now, trying to get through this faster at this point. Check it out. So there's the one I was talking about. We're going to pause this. This guy, or excuse me, it's not a guy. It's actually an action called Under Pressure. It's foiled out, it has textures, and that is the artist's signature right where my mouse is. Do y'all see that? I'm going to slow this down to normal speed so we can actually see this card here. Let me go back to 1x, and then we will go backwards. Okay. Looks like it kind of locked up on me. Whoop, there we go. Oh, no, it's at the part where I was bringing them over. Okay, so really nice looking cards here. Really good looking art, like I've been saying this entire time. And then check this out right here. Look at this card, guys. Looks really nice in person. This really does not do it justice, but check that out, guys. See how it's foiled right here on like his collar and the edges of his shirt. In the background, those textures going up. Looks awesome. And then there's this card. This, I believe, was the rare of this pack. But yeah, that's definitely the best card that I believe I opened in here. But hey, that was a pretty awesome card to open. Okay, so now let's go. Now I'm going to put it back up to 2x speed. I'm going to try to start blasting through these so we can move on with the video. So there it is, right in the middle. Perfect card to have right in the middle like that, right? Okay. I guess I can move my camera down for here. I'll just move it down to here. There we go. Okay. So, again, like I said, I'm not the greatest at opening these boxes. Okay, notice the camera, the light moving, and the table moving. This is me finally saying, like, okay, this is just bad. Let me change this. Let me move the light to the front. And that's why it looks like everything's moving right now. But don't worry, we've got a better angle now. You'll be able to see the cards in a better light. Literally, no pun intended, but literally in a better light. Okay, so here's all the cards. I am starting to go through them a little bit quicker because some of these are just commons and uncommons, and I'm always trying to show off the foil. These look really nice. Really good stuff here. Okay. Look at that. I was trying to show off. You see at the top there, it's hard to see it with the lighting, even with it in a better spot. There's like a gold font at the very top of the card for some of these, like that Under Pressure card we see. Whereas, like you see, the rest of these cards have like white font at the very top, but some of them have a gold font for the special rarity cards. Really good stuff. All right, there's Death, the Overseer. Very solid. Okay. Should be picking up pace here soon. Don't worry, guys. This is why I don't do unboxings very often, guys. I'm very clumsy. I'm also I like to do things in a single take, which is almost like impossible sometimes. Well, I don't know. I guess with unboxing, you know, with opening packs, you only get one take, right? You open it, you show off the card. So who knows? Maybe in the future for One Piece. In fact, if anyone wants to see me do One Piece unboxings, by all means, say something in the comment section below. Because lately, guys, I've just been buying like just one-ofs, just singles lately. So if you want to see unboxings, check out that card. By the way, for my green deck, that looks really cool. For the green deck that I was saying looked good, this looks like it'd be a really strong card in there. But yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing me do unboxings in One Piece in the future, go ahead, you know, say so, and I'll see what I can do. But like I said, I just feel like I'm not very good at them, and it's not really the direction of the channel. But okay, now this card, again, this is a foiled out, textured card with gold font. Looks really nice. Looks really good, guys. Okay. But yeah, I don't think, generally speaking, the unboxings are not the way to go for my channel. And I would actually like to reserve them for stuff like this, where it's potentially helping out a smaller game or something like that. So that was the card. We just passed it. There's a card in here that looks like Venom. I'm just gonna go back real quick and pause on it, so that way y'all can see it right here. So check this card out right here. It's called Embrace the Darkness. Do y'all see it? Hopefully y'all can see that okay. This card right here really gave me those Venom character vibes from Spider-Man, or from the Spider-Man universe or whatever. Okay, Weapons Depot, very cool. Entering the Gambit, that card looked really cool. That was the character I actually wish I had opened. Like when I first, when I first started looking into the game a little bit to do a little bit of research on it so I could do this video, I was like, man, I really wish I could have opened that guy, the dude that was coming through the portal there. Okay, Harvester of Souls, very good. I think that's a really cool. You see like her just blasting the dude's brains there. That dude's done for. She's got like the rib cage as armor. Looks really awesome. But yeah, just kind of going through the cards pretty quickly now. I think that guy is, I think his name is Genesis, the guy on the far right there. The Entering the Gambit card we were talking about, the card that I wanted to see. That I wish I had popped open in the packs, but hey, you know, packs are totally random, and that's why typically, number one, I don't do packs, and number two, I do more of the singles. I just buy singles now. Okay, really good stuff here. Just kind of going through these. I think we're almost done. Don't worry, guys. That card looked awesome. Look at that. That had some really cool stuff going on in that last card. Look at that. Yeah, I was like, dude, this is so cool. It's like some kind of power. You just powers emitting from him. Just the ground's breaking around him, and he's just completely jacked, buffed out of his mind. I don't know why, but this reminds me, if anyone watches any kind of weightlifting stuff, we got to give a shout out to C-Bum for any of the guys who follow, like Chris Bumstead. He just got his 6th in a row. Spoiler warning, 6th in a row. Oh, that card was awesome. That card right there is awesome, and so is the card before it that I went over, the Genesis foil one we were just looking at. Let me see something. Let me go back one more. That one. Look at that, dude. Oh, man. Really, some of these foils look really good. But again, big shout out to Chris Bumstead, man, for getting 6 in a row for the Mr. Olympia. Incredible. Absolutely incredible physique. And he looks like some of these superheroes we're looking at on the screen here, right? Which is really cool. Okay, very good stuff here. There's another one where it's like hyper foiled and like gold font, everything. Sonic Grenade. So some of these words, some of these cards are a little wordy. And that was like, that's also very reminiscent to me of how Yu-Gi-Oh is, right? Yu-Gi-Oh's got traps and it's got entire books on some of these cards. Some of the cards in this game are a little bit wordy, but at least it's easier to read than it is for Yu-Gi-Oh. That is one thing I'll give them credit for, because man, on Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm not trying to talk bad about Yu-Gi-Oh, that's like one of the top 3 card games, right? I'm just trying to say, man, one of my biggest gripes about that game is like, you've got this microscopic font. You know, it's crazy. Okay, really cool stuff there. Check this out. That one on the far left there, that's like young version of Genesis. So it also does have very much of a flesh and blood feel too. Where like, hey, it's your hero versus theirs. You're fighting, and you have all these different actions. The Aftermath, that one looks really good. There's Weber, looks awesome. Yeah, this Aftermath card looks really cool in person. I'm sorry, again, you can't really fully appreciate the way these cards look until you see them in person. And that's true of any card game. That's not like exclusive to this one. Okay, really good stuff here. Lots and lots of high quality cards, guys. Oh, about the card stock we were talking about earlier. This is a little bit thinner than the One Piece card stock, but it's right on par with, like, I would say it's actually a little bit better quality than Flesh and Blood, or maybe the same quality as far as like how bendable the card stock is and how rigid it is. So it's not bad. And these are the same size cards as One Piece, as the standard card sleeves. Okay, obliteration. So there's that. I think they were. I do a comparison at the end of the video. I believe they're the exact same size as like a one-piece card, which is just the standard card size. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these are just repeats at this point, guys. We're just seeing what rare I pop from each one. Now, there are, I guess I should mention this too while we're looking at it. That last card we looked at was a dual color card. This one right here, look at this. It's a blue, my hand was in the way, my finger was in the way at the end. Actually, you can see it right here. You see down here with the numbers? Oh no, my head's completely in the way. Okay, whatever. Anyway, there are, how clumsy does it get, right guys? How clumsy. There are dual colored characters in this game. Now, there are colors. It's not like Flesh and Blood where there are classes. But there's also a lot of typing as well, so it is similar to classes where you have some people from Earth, some people from another planet, or whatever planet they're from. But there are multicolored cards in this game. And the one on the far right, that my head's like right above their name, it's called Apex. He has a multicolored blue and green. Oh, very cool. That one looks awesome. And that is a 9-cost card, guys. That's a big boy right there. He's a 10-10. You see at the bottom left? There's the stats. Really big cards. Okay, so I think this is probably, yeah, this is towards the end now. Let me pause real quick and explain these cards real quick, the setup. They're like any card game. At the top left is the name for these cards. At the top right is the cost. At the bottom right is actually their faction. You see that little circle? That's like the faction they're a part of. And then there's the type of the card. This is a clash card. And then at the bottom left is like the subtype or the... it's almost like the designation for the card. And then, of course, you have the attack and the defense right here. The 3 and the 1 has attack and defense. And then, of course, in the middle here, it has whatever the card does. So very, very standard layout, very intuitive layout. Okay, so I think what I'm about to do here, we're towards the end of the video. I show here like how you know how rigid the cards are, and it's not bad. It's very close to the same quality as Magic, I think. But I would say Flesh and Blood is a little closer to the quality of the card stock, where it's a little flimsy, but it's not like bad, you know. Lorcana would be another good example. It's actually very, very close to the Lorcana thinness in the cards. So here's a card. I'm just kind of showing how it looks on the board here, just kind of pushing it around a little bit. And I'm going to pull out a one-piece card and show you guys the size difference. They're the exact same size, I believe. Okay, so we got Sugar. We've got some one-piece action going on here now. Sugar enters the battle. Look, so they're the same width. They're the same height. Whoops. I did that a little fast, but notice here, they're like the exact same height, and now I stack them on top of each other to kind of show. Yep, looks the exact same, both sides of it. Standard size card. Really good looking cards, very high quality. The art is the winner here. The art looks absolutely incredible on these cards. And I can't state that enough. It's not a style that everyone loves, but hey, the same thing can be said of One Piece, right? I know one thing about One Piece when I first started playing that game, because remember, guys, I didn't follow the anime or the manga. I only started playing the game, and then I fell in love with the game. But with that in mind, I didn't like the art for One Piece. It wasn't really my style at first. Well, in the same way, that might be true for other people where they just don't like the art of One Piece. You know, some people might not like the art of this game. You know, you never know. Everyone has their own styles, their own preferences. Okay, so I believe that is the end of the video. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to pause it. So here's what, this is all the stuff we opened, which was a booster box. It was a 2-player starter set, and it came with this issue number 1 of Alpha Clash, the comic book. So really cool stuff there. Big shout out to the guys over there at Rising Empire Studios, the people who make Alpha Clash. Thank you guys so much for sending me this. It was a lot of fun to show off. Now we're almost done. We do have 1 or 2 more things I want to go over real quick. So this is the website. I will link this down in the comment section below for anyone who might be interested. Let me move my face down here. Anyone who's interested in checking this game out further, I will post this on there. They do have a full-on rule book. This is a very high-quality website, by the way, guys. Like, they're doing it right. Very good stuff here. And notice the rule book. Very, very good stuff here as well. Very high-quality, basic rule book. They're on version 3, so they obviously care about the game. They're updating the rule book as necessary. And on top of that, I wanted to show, I'm going to kind of blitz through one thing real quick. We're about to talk about this with the zones. Don't worry, I'm going to show the zones off in a second. Here's what we were just talking about with the cards. You got the color. I didn't talk about the colors. The colors are built into the little hexagonal cube shapes. Menacing Magnate, 2 cost, green card. And notice this, there are specified costs in this game. So in order to pay for this card, you only need 1 green, and then the other color can be whatever. And that does come into play. Well, this is a contender. This is like one of the heroes or the leaders, right? Okay, this does come into play. Hang on a second. There we go. for something like, notice this card, you have to have at least 2 red resources to play this 4-cost card, even though, it's red. You don't have to pay all red to, you don't have to pay with all reds for the full cost. You have to pay with at least 2 reds and then 2 of whatever other color you might have in your deck. We'll talk about the Clash Grounds in a second. Bear with me, guys. I want to show you guys page 18 real quick. So, again, we did break down the cards. You can pause this and read them, or you can check it out on the website if you want to, like, really study it or check it out, like, go into detail on it. But page 18 here is where I wanted to go. Turns and phases. So this is how the game operates. It's very similar to, like, what I would consider the modern style of TCGs, where you have, okay, your start of turn, any effect that triggers at your start of turn will resolve here. The expansion phase, so ready, draw, resource. So ready all your cards, like set them as active for the One Piece players, or untap them in magic words, right? Draw step, you'll draw 1 card, and then your resource step, you may put up to 1 card from your hand into your resource zone. So instead of like in One Piece where there is a Dawn deck on the side, you have this time in your expansion phase to gain a resource. Unless a card specifies otherwise, like to gain a resource as part of an effect. Of course, guys, with any trading card game, the rules are the card's effect overrides the rules, right? Because that's what makes the card's effect powerful, is it goes against what you'd normally expect from a card, right? So that's true across like all TCGs. But with that last part there, the resource step, it's very important to know. So what you're going to do with resources in this game is it is like Lorcana and like Dragon Ball and even like how Gundam is, I think. No, Gundam's going to have its own resource deck, never mind. But the way Dragon Ball Z is, or Dragon Ball Super and Fusion, whatever they're on now, the way that Dragon Ball is, where you play a card upside down from your hand, it's the same way in this game. Now, in Lorcana, you play it face down as a resource as soon as you show that it has an ink picture, and you play it face down. But in this game, you just play a card upside down, just like in Dragon Ball. And it can only be done during this expansion phase, unless otherwise stated on the card. Now, this next part here, the primary phase, this is where you can play out your clash cards. We'll look at those in a second. Play out basic actions, set number of traps, initiate clashes, and things like that. And the clash, and notice this, you may initiate a clash. You are in the clash phase as soon as you declare an attack. And notice this, the clash phase, I think it's exactly the same as One Piece. And if someone knows otherwise, by all means say something. But it's the same idea. In your primary phase, it's just like this open phase. It's your main phase where you can do all this different kinds of stuff, play out your characters and so on and so forth. And then when you want to declare an attack, in this game it's called a clash. So you clash, which is the attack step. There's a counter step. The obstruct step, that's probably like a blocker or something. Then the attacker declares any kind of buffs they want to do, any kind of reactions, and then the defender will do the same, and then the damage happens, resolves, and you go from there, and then you're back into your primary phase, right? You may initiate a clash. You are in the clash phase as soon as you declare an attack. You may end your turn during this phase. Play then passes to the next opponent's turn because you go to end a turn phase. So I believe that's correct. If someone knows, tell me otherwise. I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. So there's the phases. Now let's go ahead and look at these zones. Let me go full screen here. Let me see how we're doing on time. Okay, yeah, we're doing good on time. So I'm gonna push my head to the middle of the screen here. Look at that, front and center. Okay, I better set up my seat for this part. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously. So for this part here, so this is how I would separate the game. At the top left, you have your cards that are in the very top of the of your board. It's the Contender, the Clash cards, and the Clash Grounds. Okay, and then on the right here, these cards right here, the Sonic Grenade Launcher. Hopefully you guys can read these. Okay. Yeah, I think the quality is good enough for y'all can read it. Hopefully. Now my head's the way. We're zooming out. We're zooming out. Okay. But the top right here, these are accessory cards, and they go where my head is in the middle of your board. And we're going to look at that more in just a second. At the bottom left here, these are tokens. So there are tokens in this game. That is one thing I wish they had in One Piece. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe they'll add it in the future. I'm not saying I want there to be a ton of tokens, but that's something I actually wish that One Piece would add in the future. Some type of tokens of some sort. In fact, I did do a video on what if Iceberg was a token generation deck. I feel like that would have made it so cool. But anyway, that's a video I made a while back. And then at the bottom right here, we have actions. And there's a reason I have 3 of them like this. We'll look at that now. Okay, so right here, so this is how I have it set up. We're at the top left, Contenders, Clash, and Clash Grounds. Accessories at the top right, actions at the bottom right, and tokens at the bottom left. We're not going to talk much about tokens, but we are going to look at the others. So let me go ahead and first we're going to look at the contenders. And the clash cards and the clash grounds. I want to show you all that first. So again, just to go into like specifics, as much specifics as I can. This is very much like your hero is in Flesh and Blood, your leader is in One Piece, your leader is in Dragon Ball. This contender is who represents you, right? This is your main representation in the game. Then you have Genesis here. Now, notice I picked a dual-colored card here on purpose. Number one, because I thought Genesis looked cool. I think this is a really cool-looking character. And so is the Pestilence guy, but you know... Not even going to get into that. Okay, I can talk about this stuff forever, guys. You guys know I can just keep yapping literally forever. But when it comes to this guy, Genesis here, you have to pay 1 red and 1 blue, and then 3 of whatever other color. But notice, this is a clash card. Excuse me, a rough translation for, like, Magic players. This is, like, your creature cards. I believe for you, I think they're called just monster cards, right? And then for One Piece, these are your characters. These are your guys that are going to be on the board fighting, clashing with your opponent's characters, your opponent's other clash cards. And then on the far right here is very interesting. This is kind of like a stage, but not really. It's like, I was going to say it's kind of like a stage for One Piece, but not quite. But this is a clash ground. So this is something that just sits on the board almost like an aura, like an enchantment in Magic, where it just sits on the board and it's affecting the board in a certain way. Okay, so that's the contenders, clash cards, and clash grounds. Now, at the top right, we're going to check out these accessories. Let me zoom out a little bit. And do I have to move my head? Yeah, I might as well. We'll go over to the left side. My camera's going to be in every single corner of this video, I'm sure. But here we go. So these are the accessories. These are like your weapons. And notice at the very bottom right, guys, we're going to zoom in a little bit right here. So this is just a... Whoops, let me go over a little bit. This is... They're all accessories. You see on the bottom right, accessory, accessory, accessory. Whoops. I just went to the next screen. You guys got a sneak peek there. No, but seriously. So all of these are accessories, but they're actually all very different as well. For example, this one's just a weapon. So anyone can use this. Any of your clash characters can use this. But this is a contender weapon. So without even reading the rules, guys, I would assume this is only for your contender. In fact, look here, guys. It says if your contender is this symbol, their faction, weapons you control with grenade in their name cost that much less to play. So, yeah, if this is attached to a contender during your... It has contender stuff going on. So this is, like, specifically for your contender. And notice the attach cost. This would be a foreign concept to One Piece players. Unless you come from other TCGs, of course. But the attach cost would be the equip cost in Magic. Okay. And notice this one. This accessory here is a relic. And then we have a trap card. And look, it's worded, it says counter, so I'm sure it probably has something to do with like countering, in this case, an attack. Deal 1 damage to each clash card you control, then deal 2 damage to each clash card target opponent controls. So you're doing a little bit of damage to yourself to take out one of your opponent's characters. Makes sense. One of your opponent's clash cards. Okay, again, really good looking stuff here. Really good looking art. So that's the accessory cards. Then you get down to the tokens. Again, I'm not going, let me at least move my head out of the way. Actually, I'll move it to here. Is probably a better angle. The token cards, we're not going to talk much about these. It looks like you have tokens for relics, tokens for clash cards, and tokens... Well, I should have said tokens for accessories, and then even tokens for clash cards. Okay, then last but not least, we have actions. I do want to spend a little bit extra time on this one just to explain, because this is probably the most technical one here, is the actions. You have quick actions. Sorry about the quality down here, guys. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right here it says quick, and then it says clash buff, and then it says basic. So the general idea here, and again, guys, I am not a judge in this game. I do not know all the rules, but just from the little bit I do know about it and from the little bit I've seen of the game being played, quick actions can basically be used at any time or in any appropriate action phase. Clash buffs are going to be used when you're attacking or defending with your clash cards. And then basic are probably only going to be able to be used on your main phase, right? So the basic stuff, if I'm understanding this correctly, the basic stuff would be like sorcery level speed. The quick stuff would be like instant cast speed. And then the clash buff stuff, it's like instant, but only usable within the attack and defense step, right? So for Flesh and Blood players, it would be like reaction speed, basically. Okay, so really cool stuff there. Those are the different types of cards. Let me move my... I'll actually move this right... Yeah, my camera to the middle again. These are for the different kinds of cards. Now, as far as the board setup goes, I will move my head down to here because the cards I'm covering are actually like what would be your hand. I just have it down there. So this is how the board looks during a game. Not necessarily exactly like this. This was the character that I thought looked really cool. This Pestilence guy who had the toxic stuff I was talking about earlier. Big fan of this one. And check this out, guys. Like this card right here, Pestilence, Harbinger of Desolation. They're all Pestilence, by the way. These are all the Clash cards I'm showing right here, but they have special abilities that go off of the main leader's effect. Even though I think they're all probably the same guy. I don't think it's like an army. I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't think it's an army of people that look the same. I think it's just this guy Pestilence doing different things. Like here's him when he's giving afflictions. Here's him when he's bringing the plague. Here's him when he's harboring desolation, right? Things like that. Very, very cool stuff though. Very good looking cards. But yeah, this whole theme of this guy Pestilence, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this guy doing what he does, like, you know, putting damage over times, putting basically what would you call them, like curses almost on all your opponent's characters and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. But here's the board right here. This is how it would look during a game. At the very top left is where you would have your in fact, let me just go to this real quick. I have it like put into zones. I'll move my head over just a little bit, right? It's like jumping around. That's fine. So these are the zones you have. At the very top left is where your hero goes in that game, or your leader, like in One Piece. You know, in One Piece, your leader goes in the middle here, right? Well, in this game, your leader actually goes to the top left. And then you have this attack area, this attack zone, or clash zone for your clash cards. In the top right is where that stage goes we were talking about, like for the clash grounds. It's like I said, it's kind of like an enchantment or some type of aura effect that just sits on the board at all times, or unless something happens to it, right? And then in the middle here, notice this is the accessory area. In this game, I think accessories are a very big deal, where I think they stay in play. Because notice this costs 2 to attach, 2 green resources to attach to one of your, and in fact, this is a contender weapon, so you can only attach this to your contender, I believe. This weapon can only be attached to a Pestilence contender in this specific case. But check out this Defiler's Vial. See, now this is almost more like a stage in One Piece terms, where it's like you have this 1-cost card trigger when it enters play. You can put a toxic counter on this card, and then once per turn there's an effect, and there's another once per turn effect. I'm not going to read the full thing. Pause and read it if you want to know what it does. Really cool looking. This also gives me, you know, I'm a gamer, guys, right? So of course, like with Valorant, this gives me what's her name's vibes, Viper. This gives me Viper vibes. Great alliteration, I know. And then last but not least, down here at the bottom, guys, let me, oh, and excuse me, I almost forgot the most important one right here, right, guys? This is the deck. You know, your deck goes on the far right. This is traditional across like every TCG. Some people put the deck up here, actually, where the Clash Grounds are in this game. And I do as well sometimes, even in One Piece, you know, then I just adjust it as the game goes on. This is the trash down here at the bottom right. I think it's called Oblivion in this game, which is kind of cool. And then last but not least, this right here is the resources. Now, notice, don't mind the card over here to the left. This is like the hand. I just have that, like, I put the black border behind it showing like it's off the board. But this right here, guys, at the bottom, these are upside down cards that represent your resources. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resources, right? At least in this example. Okay, well, that's about it, guys. That's how this game is laid out. That's how it's set up. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. That's it for the little, let me make sure that's as far as it goes. And let me X out of here real quick. I want to show you guys one more thing before we move on. Number one, the portal. I'm glad I left this on there. I left this on there for a specific reason so I wouldn't forget. This is a cool idea in the game, and it goes in between both players. Like, let me show you guys the board setup one more time. Hopefully it's, I think it's on here. I think we passed it up here. Yeah, here it is. So notice in this game, so here's all the stuff we just looked at, right? The accessory zone, the resources, clash zone, contender, clash ground, deck, and oblivion. Then there's a portal that's between you and your opponent. And I think at the time, I could be wrong, but I think this is the only portal that's available. And look at this. So here's the portal when it's closed, right? And here's the portal when it's open. Very cool looking. And during your primary phase, you may pay 2 resources of any color to activate the portal, and then the portal begins the game closed. And when it's opened, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know all the logistics behind it, but maybe it enhances your effects or something like that. Again, I have no idea. Very cool concept, though, and it goes in between you and your opponent, this portal, you know, dynamic. Very cool stuff there. Okay, now, last but not least, let's go ahead and look at Alpha Clash. We're just going to look at, let me just search for it. Here we go. And this is sort of my best match, so cards that are like, you know, how do I say this? Like, these are probably cards that are bought the most. And yeah, you know, notice the prices on here. It's very cheap because this is still a very new game, guys, and it doesn't have the same following. Oh, this card looks. See, some of these guys have a lot of font on them, guys. Like, that's why it gives me that Yu-Gi-Oh vibe a little bit, like with the font, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Some people really like that, but this is still like a new enough game, and it's not quite like popular enough yet to where the prices are insane. So if you are someone who's just trying to get into a game, this is it'll be a very easy game to get into. And there is still some stuff there for I noticed this, I sorted by the highest cards. There are special cards that are like alpha rare, stuff like that, where it's like if this game ever does get big enough to where there's collectors for it, there are cards that are special rarities like this that actually go for quite a bit. Like here's one of those signed cards we were just looking, or that I was telling you guys I popped open. I didn't pop open this one, but this is a artist signed card. See the little artist signature? And in this game, it's a promo, but I think if I was reading it correctly up here, the rarity is actually, let me see if we can find it, guys. Y'all bear with me for just a second. They had like this thing that showed all the rarities, which was really cool. Here it is. Nice. Really cool stuff here. So notice at the bottom here of every single card in the bottom center, there was that little alpha and omega symbol. But if you look closely, there's actually a color within that alpha and omega symbol. And if it's white like this, well, that's just common. Green is uncommon. This reddish purple whatever is promo starter rare. Blue is rare. Purple's epic. And then this is the one I was about to say. This iconic rare is... I really like that idea. Iconic rare. That's really cool. And then there's legendary, and then there's alpha rare legendary. This like where it's like a black one, where it's like obsidian. Looks really cool. All right, I'm done. I'm done rambling about it. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. And don't worry, like I said, I'm not like giving up on One Piece. I just, you know, this was just meant to be a fun video to do on the side. And this is a game that I think has potential. Like, let me say that right now. I'm not going to start following the game or anything like that. I'm not saying I will be, but it's one of those games where I at least wanted to show it off for people who do like this kind of style. And if they're looking for a game that is still very similar, let me go full screen for this last part. If you're looking for a game that is very similar to One Piece, but just a slightly different feel, yeah, this is one of those games. It's definitely taking all of the modern concepts, it's taking them all into consideration and keeping them in mind when they're building this, you know, when they were building this. Good stuff here. I do want to know what y'all have to say. How many times do I say good stuff? You know, if we made this game, you have to take a drink every time I say good stuff. It'd have been bad. It'd have been a total disaster. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not hesitate to ask me any questions. I don't know a lot about the stuff on this game, unfortunately. But if you have any questions, I can at least try to look it up, and I will have everything linked in the comment section if you want to check out the game for yourself or anything like that. Okay? All right, I'm done. I'm done rambling, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. Big shout out to everybody who supports my channel. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help my channel to support it and to make it grow, I really, really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, to the patrons out there, thank you guys so much as well just for donating and helping out the channel in the ways you do. And one more thing, I almost forgot. I'm saving at the very end. Everyone's probably already logged off the video at this point, unfortunately. But I did want to mention one more thing. What we were looking at for Alpha Clash comes out. Set 4 Genesis Returns comes out in November. November 8th is what it says. Let me show you guys that real quick, guys. Sorry, I totally forgot to bring this up. But yeah, this new set for Alpha Clash is coming out on November 8th. This year, obviously. That'd be crazy in a whole year. No, it's for this year. But yeah, set 4 Genesis Returns looks awesome. Check this guy out. Has very much a Thanos type of feel to it. But yeah. All right, now we're done. Now we're actually done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, guys. Peace.